All right, I think we got Joe back. Let's see. All right, let's hopefully you sound a little better there. Okay, but at least you didn't sweat as much as you normally do. So that's good stuff. Yeah, that they took care of you.
It will be sweating, but it wasn't too bad today.
What stood out in practice first and foremost for you today?
It was a short practice. It was a light practice. There was some 7-on-7. There was some 11-on-11. Zach Sealer was disruptive on the defensive line. Obviously, he's looking for a new contract. It was good to see Connor Williams back at center. After practice, he said, yeah, I was unhappy about my contract, but it's time to play football. It's time to practice football. Tua Tagovailoa did have a nice deep ball to Jalen Waddle. He tipped the ball in the air and then caught it. He was being defended by Javon Holland. You can see that play on the Miami Dolphins Twitter account. That was kind of the highlight of the day. Savon Ahmed had a few decent runs. There were too many drops, a little bit sloppy, a little bit of a wet ball out there. Tyreek Hill at one point dropped the ball and then punted it into the air. So first day, everybody's sort of just getting acclimated. I think that the Mike Hill, Skylar Thompson battle is one to watch. Obviously, Mike Hill is being paid to be the backup. But it's going to be really interesting to see who has the better training camp.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that battle too, to watch it in camp. I'll be there tomorrow. What did you think about Tyreek? I was actually very happy for Tyreek Hill. His quote, "It's been resolved. I just can't do boneheaded stuff like that." I love the honesty. I'm glad that he's not in denial. I'm glad that he's not blaming other things or making excuses, because he shouldn't. Because bottom line, he shouldn't have done something that stupid. He should rise above that. But I like that there was no excuses, and he kind of attacked it and laid on the sword and said, "Hey, man, it's on me." Period.
Yeah, it was important that he spoke with reporters today and got a message to his coach, got a message to his teammates, got a message to the fans. When the Dolphins acquired Tyreek Hill, obviously there was some off-the-field incidents that had occurred in his past. And so this is the kind of thing that Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer, and the Dolphins want to avoid, the unnecessary off-the-field distraction, especially anything involving lawsuits, physical contact, investigations that require the NFL to look at video. This is the kind of stuff that the Dolphins don't need, don't want. It'll be interesting to see. You know, McDaniel said that he and the organization have had contact with the NFL, so we'll see if there's any discipline. Hopefully not.
Yeah, I'm afraid of a game at least. I really am, because of the past, and then the question really is, and this is what we don't know, and it's amazing that TMZ has not gotten a hold of that video. Is how clear is that video? You know what I mean? Does it show?
Yeah, but I heard someone saying it's not a great video, which is good for Tyreek. Okay. If that's accurate.
Right. Yeah. See, that's the thing.
I think if it was a great video, it probably would be on TMZ already.
Oh, these people look old school, bro. Because that guy didn't talk to the media. The video hasn't come out. I don't know, man. I just get the feeling that was an old school person that you were dealing with in that marina, man, because it was just kind of odd. So what's your gut tell you? Have you talked to anybody in the league, offices, or anything like that on the Tyreek situation?
No, I haven't, and they're unpredictable. So my gut instinct would be that he will not get suspended, but I know you have some fears that he might.
I do have, because of the past, I do have a fear that they could lay just a one gamer. I don't think it would be more than anything like that. And then now
if the video's not damning, and this guy doesn't talk to the NFL, those are two things in Tyreek's favor, certainly.
Yeah. Hopefully the video's not good, and he's available for that Chargers game. By the way, did you see Herbert get? Well, he really hasn't gotten paid yet. Get paid. Got to get paid. What do you think of that contract?
Yeah, I think the Chargers had no choice but to give a guy who has some of the best physical attributes of any quarterback in the NFL that kind of money. He was going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL once it was his turn.
Right.
And Joe Burrow will become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL in the coming weeks or months.
And then next year, Tua will be the highest paid quarterback. That's how it's going to work. That's just the way it's going to work.
So I said to Tua today, do you think it's in everyone's best interest, everyone's, the club, you, everyone, to just kind of wait and see on this long-term contract and not kind of, shelve it, put it to the side for now? And Tua said, whether it's, now or later, I just want to be clear that that's the contract that I want to I want to deserve what I get. In so many words, I want to earn what I get. And when I spoke to Tua one-on-one recently, he talked about the importance of showing his team, his teammates, his coaches, and himself that he can get through the season. And so I think that means finish and start 14.
But there's no now. He's not getting any contract now. He was never getting any contract.
Well, a couple of things on that. Chris Greer said that he was open to long-term contract discussions. He said that in the offseason.
You believe that? You believe that they were talking contracts in this offseason? Really? You believe?
Well, I wrote in a column posted on the Palm Beach Post website just a few minutes ago that Tua wore a T-shirt that said "different" on it. And obviously Tua is different in a lot of ways. He's already said he's turned down the Netflix series Quarterback because he's private.
Yeah.
But I wrote that he's different from his quarterback classmates, Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, in that unfortunately he's not going to get the kind of guaranteed dollars that those two are getting, have gotten, and are about to get until he proves he can stay healthy. What makes him different is the injury history, unfortunately. And credit to Tua, he doesn't shy away from that. He takes that head on.
Yeah, of course, but there is no contract negotiations till next year when he actually, if he survives this year and proves that he can play smart and stay healthy, then they'll talk about a long-term deal and a whole bunch of guarantees and all that kind of stuff.
And that's in everybody's best interest. That's in everybody's best interest. No reason for Tua.
It's not a matter of the best. No, Joe, it's not a matter of the best interest. That's the only way it's going to happen. There's not going to be any contract talks now. They're not going to give him any kind of big guarantees. He has no leverage whatsoever. So it's a moot point now. Right now, there's no reason to talk about any of that. In his case, because of his injury history, he has to put in a whole year. And then we can talk about that at this point. So it's not about what's everybody's best interest. It's the only way it's going to happen, period. He has to prove first before the Dolphins commit. That's just the way it is.
You're not disagreeing with my point that it's in the Dolphins and Tua's best interest to not agree to a long-term contract at this time. You agree with me, right?
Yes, but my point is...
So you agree. So why are we arguing? There's nothing to argue about. You agree with my point.
You're stating the obvious.
All right, so you agree.
There was contract negotiations now. So to even talk about it and say what's in the best interest, it doesn't make any sense because it's going to happen down the line anyways. So, listen, that's why.
If the Dolphins felt it was in the organization's best interest to offer a 3, 4, or 5-year extension in excess of $40 million, they would do it. So unfortunately, it's in nobody's best interest at this time. And I think kudos to Tua for recognizing that as well.
Yeah, I just think it's we're getting way ahead of ourselves talking about a contract deal.
No, we're not way ahead of ourselves because Justin Herbert just got $262 million. Joe Burrow is going to get more, and
Tua did not get injured.
$9 million, and Tua is making $9.6 million.
And if Tua did not get injured, he would be discussing and negotiating a new deal this offseason. He would have been negotiating one. But because of his injury history, that's all shelved. There is no talk. Dolphins have no interest in signing him right now. Period. At all. For
And I
$10
totally
million,
get it. And I
for
totally
$50
get it.
million, they don't want to sign him right now. It's kind of this is the same shit that happened with the Dalvin Cook stuff. Oh, Dolphins will trade for him. No, they won't. Oh, Dolphins will scoop him up the second he becomes a free agent. No, they won't. No, they won't. They're going to give him the deal that they want to give him, a team-friendly deal, and that's what they offered him, and that's it. You know, it's the same thing. There's no contract talks at all with this kid, unfortunately. You know, it would be nice to secure a future, but he's got to prove first before you're able to secure it. All right, so the Teron Armstead stuff, Isaiah Wynn stuff, are you concerned about any of those things?
I was able to watch Teron Armstead and Isaiah Wynn on the side today, and they looked really good. So, no, I am not worried about those two being ready for the regular season. And in fact, I think they'll be off of PUP, as Mike McDaniel said, in the not too distant future.
Did they do any one-on-ones? How did any battles between O-line and D-line? Anything on Eichenberg and Austin Jackson today?
No, I mean, it was the first day. You know, there's no hitting, there's no tackling, there's no physicality. The running, yeah, no, it's too early.
Maybe if they had one-on-ones or something. I didn't know if maybe they even got to that point. I know it was going to be light today, but you know, you never know. All right, you hear anything on the Dalvin Cook front?
No, just wait and see. It is interesting that it was reported that the Dolphins explored acquiring Saquon Barkley. This is interesting that the Dolphins maybe don't feel they have enough running backs. I don't know. I mean, maybe we should read something into that. I mean, yes, they have to do their due diligence on Saquon Barkley and Dalvin Cook, but maybe they really do want to add another running back.
I think there's a lot of people in the media, you might be included on it, who reported that Saquon Barkley thing.
New York Post and Pro Football Talk.
Okay, so they also are lost on this. Chris Grier is a low-hanging fruit guy. He's the guy that calls you up and says, hey, you got a disgruntled player. He's holding out. What do you want for him? Well, hey, listen, if you're interested, we'll give you a 6-rounder for him. And I think people haven't picked up on the fact that Chris Grier inquires about anything and everything that's available because he's trying to get low-hanging fruit. Again, kind of like the Dalvin Cook situation. He's not dying to sign Dalvin Cook. He's not dying to trade Dalvin Cook. But he'll give Dalvin Cook a small contract because he'll add Dalvin Cook to a team. But he's not killing himself to try to add Dalvin Cook. And I don't think he was killing himself to add Saquon Barkley. And if that happened months ago before the draft or anything else, just to kind of inquire, hey, so what are you doing with Saquon? And that's it. And once you're asking too much, Chris Grier's like, no, dude, I'm low-hanging fruit guy. I'm not doing that. I don't think people get this guy yet. And so
I think that makes sense.
You're going off like they want to get Saquon, and you still don't get Chris Grier either. He doesn't spend money on running backs. He doesn't send big picks for running backs. So what the hell would make you think he's going to spend big money on Saquon Barkley? Come on, man.
Well, Mike McDaniel's a different dude, and I think maybe Mike likes the idea of a back like of that caliber. Remember though, I mean, Mike McDaniel has a big say in what moves Chris Grier makes.
You're right. You're right about that.
This is a little bit of a different deal with Mike.
Yeah,
what Mike says is going to have a bigger input.
See, the problem think the part where you and I are going to have a disconnect here, here's where Chris Greer's sitting down with him saying, I've got to pay Jalen Phillips, and I've got to pay Wilkins, and I've got to pay Steeler, and I've got to pay Waddle, and I've got to pay Holland. I can't pay Saquon. So that's where you and I disagree. With when you see what's on the horizon and what they've got to pay, there's no way they would acquire Saquon on a short notice, on a rent-a-player type of thing, but they're not going to give him a big – he's shown his cards that he's not willing to do that with running backs. He's not willing to pay, and he's not willing to give up big-time picks for him. You know what I mean? I bet you even hurt him to use a third-rounder on A-Chain. I'm serious.
Yeah, once did it on Kenny and Drake. A-Chain, I think he's going to be a factor, man. He's got unreal physical ability.
Yeah, he's going to be a factor. I bet you he gets at least 5 to 10 carries a game, and they'll throw him the ball a few times too. But he's going to be
I think that's something to watch for. Raheem Mostert kind of gave us a hint on that yesterday. Without Mike Gesicki, I think the running backs are going to have an increase in catches, Mostert and A-Chain included.
I
so
agree.
If you're in a now it's tough with the running backs in fantasy football, but if you're in a PPR, that might bump up Mostert's value a little bit.
And remember, you have the Higgins-Connor experiment going on, the offline tight end. So that will determine how many catches the backs get. If they fail, if getting Higgy with it or Tanner Connor aren't good enough to play that offline tight end position that he's trying to develop, then more catches. You are correct.
By the way, Tanner Connor is hurt and not expected back soon, so we don't know what that deal is. He was obviously hurt last year as well.
I think, Sean, didn't I say like 2 months ago that shit got hard for Tanner Connor with Higgins in there? You watch Higgins tape, it's pretty freaking good. He's way more polished than Tanner Connor. Tanner is a raw athlete that this kid knows how to play the position. So I'm very interested in that one, but you got to watch that offline tight end. But you are on to something because your other 3 tight ends are more blockers. They can catch the ball, but they're not dynamic. And that's why he's experimenting with the other 2 kids, because they're dynamic. So he's looking, since they couldn't get Waller, they got to get some kind of dynamic play out of their tight ends. That'll determine whether the back get even more catches or not, actually. So that is definitely, I agree with
you. Check out the story I just wrote about Tua Tagovailoa on the Palm Beach Post website. A guy named Jerry jumped on board yesterday. $1 for 6 months. That's a good subscription offer. And that allows you to read all the stories, even when they go behind the wall. So, I mean, listen, $1 for 6 months, it doesn't get better than that.
Follow him on Twitter at Schad Joe and catch his exceptional work there at the Palm Beach Post. Joe, as always, thank you. We'll catch up later in the week, my friend. Or next week. Thank you.
See you, bud. Okay, bye.
You got it. There you go. The great Joe Schad from the Palm Beach Post. That is our essentialmovingexperts.com Miami Dolphins report. And don't forget to call Sean Williams and the boys at Essential Moving Experts. They will take care of you. Long moving services, home moving services, long distance moving services, office relocation. Well over 1,700 happy customers have said they love the experience. Moving was never so easy when you call essentialmovingexperts.com. Sean's a great dude. It's going to be down for the scrimmage. I won't be able to see him. What is it, on the 3rd, I think, because we're going to be up in Canton. But he's got season tickets, comes down for the games, flat rates, no surprise charges. Their home base is in Daytona, but they handle the entire country. So it doesn't matter if you're moving from one state to another, within the city, within the county. Doesn't matter. Call them. 386-213-4054. Safe and efficient loading and unloading practices at all times. 386-213-4054 for essentialmovingexperts.com.
This is the Big O Show. is the Big O Show.